Welcome back to part 2 of Ask the King for January 26, 2012. This is the episode 20 of Ask the King. Let's jump right into it because we've got quite a lot of questions to get to because I kind of ranted about ACTA a little bit too much in the last part. So let's go ahead. Next question. This one's from Be Bad. It's a two-parter. First part. Recently, Ep.20 was announced. Son of a bitch. What are your thoughts about this announcement? I actually enjoyed the original, but you clearly despised the game. Yeah, no kidding. How would you improve the sequel if you were in charge of its development? Alright. Here's my thoughts. This is my honest thoughts. I know for a fact that a lot of people liked Ep.20. It was actually a money-making hit. And the reason that it sold so much wasn't the gameplay. It was because it was Mickey Mouse. It was a game that came out right before Christmas, and everyone bought it for their kids. I know this for a fact. So, it was a huge hit for the wrong reasons. Not because it was a great game, not because it was critically acclaimed, because it absolutely was not. Critics panned the game and said it was a piece of shit. But, it is what it is. Some games just sell because of the subject matter. It's a cutesy Disney game. Everyone thought, oh, this is a safe game to buy my kids for Christmas. And some kids got a real fucking lump of coal in their stocking that year. Let's just put it that way. How do I feel about Ep.20 2? I think it was inevitable that it was going to come out when it's a game like that that's a moneymaker. First of all, let's address what would I change. The camera has to fucking work, which it didn't in Ep.20 1. Take out the repetitive side-scrolling bullshit stages. If they're going to be in there, you go through them once, you never go back through them. Not that you repetitively have to go through them every time you go from world to world. Makes no fucking sense. Just put fast travel in the game after you go there the first time. And for the love of God, make it HD, which, by the way, they're doing this time. Supposedly it's not just a Wii exclusive from what I'm hearing. It's going to be on Xbox, it's going to be on PlayStation, so you'll actually be able to tell what the fuck's going on, which was a major problem with the first game. Remember, with the Wii, it couldn't handle the graphics that it was trying to push out, and there were parts that the game would chug along at a low frame rate and in slow motion because the Wii's graphical engine couldn't handle the game. What the fuck? So hopefully putting it on a new console, or not, I don't want to say a new console, putting it on an HD console will be able to fix these graphical issues. And I really think the first game had massive potential and squandered it. Fingers crossed that Ep.20 2 fixes the issues with the first game and ends up being a pretty good one. I hope, because I'm going to have to play it. I don't want to have to cry again. I don't cry often. Alright, next question. From the same person, it was a two-parter. The new Mortal Kombat was one of my favorite games of 2011, and I was surprised you didn't even give the game an honorable mention in the top 10 games of 2011 videos. How do you rank it compared to other games that have been released? Well, a lot of people said to me, Phil, why didn't you mention Mortal Kombat? Why didn't you mention Marvel vs. Capcom 3? Why didn't you mention, these fighters that came out? You are a fighting game fan, and in the previous years, especially that year Street Fighter 4 came out, it was in my top 10 games of the year. Why didn't I mention these games this year? And the answer, quite frankly, is because I feel that these games are not very good. They're great games to fuck around with, but for games that historically are meant to be played competitively, these games failed on a massive level. Both Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 are games that were purposely dumbed down in the skill level so that any Joe Schmo can play them, and they have critical flaws. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Mortal Kombat put in flashy combos that after just a little bit of repetitive practice you can easily pull off, do insane amounts of damage, and break the fucking game. Other fighting games, can you name a fighting game before this newest slew of games that if you get hit by one combo you're pretty much fucked? Why is it that in Mortal Kombat you can do one combo with certain characters and it takes like 50% damage? That's insane. Why would you take 50% damage with one combo? Why in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and now even Ultimate Marvel 3 can you do one combo and sure you'll be DHCing between characters or whatever, but it kills 100% of your life bar on a character? It's fucking stupid. Fighting games weren't meant and weren't designed to be games where you get hit once and lose. They're meant to be tactical games where you have a chance to come back, but you also, there's all these different factors and mind games and footsies and things in them. That doesn't exist anymore. It's been completely lost to these games that are just, they look really flashy, you hit you once, it does 100% combo, and the crowd goes wild. I don't fucking care if the crowd goes wild or not. I want a game that's interesting, fun to play, and has some technical skill to it so that not any Joe Schmo can sit in training mode for a couple hours and all of a sudden know how to kill off an entire character with one hit. It's fucking bullshit. And both Mortal Kombat and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 suffer from that. It's a pain in the ass that these game developers have now gone towards the flashy rather than quality of gameplay. And that's my opinion on these games that have come out in the past year. That's really why I didn't like them that much, and they didn't get honorable mentions, because they don't deserve them. In my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay. Next question. March 3rd, 2012 will mark the 5th year anniversary of DSP being on YouTube. I was talking about my original channel, Dark Side Phil. I signed up for it on March 3rd, I think 2007. I never posted anything on it for quite a while, though. Okay? Are you planning anything special for this anniversary? Are you considering doing something to mark the occasion? That's from J. Tarrant, or Tarrant. I'm not sure how to say it. Listen, here's my feeling on any kind of a special event, anniversary. Listen, I've had 100 billion milestones since I've been on YouTube. Oh, it's his 100th video, it's his 1,000th video, his 2500th video, his 5,000th video, his 10,000th video, his 100,000 subscribers, his 50,000 subscribers, you know what I mean? There's so many milestones that you can celebrate. And for me, the milestones that I like to celebrate, for example, were when I made that video about why I do what I do as a full-time gamer, how I'm enjoying it, the experience I've had. That was a milestone for me, a year of doing it full-time and being able to make a video like that and talk about it. Or finally releasing Project 7 after 2 years of development, this project finally coming to fruition. Those are the kinds of things that I like to celebrate. For me, oh, it's 10,000th video. It's just a number. And it's really not my 10,000th video. I have several other channels. If you actually add up all the videos, I've got way more than 10,000 videos, I hate to tell you. I've probably got more than 20,000 videos on YouTube. In addition to that, the 10,000th video that you saw as the 10,000th video on DSPGaming wasn't. I've actually had hundreds more videos than that, but some things have been errored out because of YouTube. Some were duplicate uploads in error. Some were things that I had to set on private because they had copyrighted content when I became a partner for Machinima. So I've made more than 10,000 videos by the hundreds on this channel, and there's no reason to celebrate a false milestone like that. It's just a number for me. But I would rather celebrate the bigger events, like I said, the ones that I mentioned. Those are the things that I would like to celebrate. So no, even though, yeah, okay, I'm 5 years on YouTube, but I didn't really post videos at that point. I didn't post them for months, if not years afterwards, so why celebrate that? You know what I mean? Those kind of things are just fluff. For me, the big celebrations are milestones in my development and the things that I do, you know? So if anything big happens again, that's the kind of stuff that I'll celebrate. Right now, I'm really into Project 7, and that's really my latest milestone, in my opinion. Alright, Dear Phil, at the beginning of the last year, you said you would try out PlayStation Plus and have a year-end review of it. Now it's 1 year later. It's roughly 1 year later right now. He's right. It's not over yet because it hasn't expired and I haven't renewed it, but we're getting pretty close to the 1 year mark now. I'm wondering, what is your opinion about the service and if it's worth me to get it? That's spelled with a PH is his name. That's kind of a weird name. But anyway, here's my opinion on PlayStation Plus. If you're the kind of person that likes downloadable titles, like if you buy a lot of stuff on PlayStation Network, it's a good value because a lot of the times those titles, if you don't get them right away and you wait a month or two, there'll be a big discount if you have PlayStation Plus, okay? It's a little frustrating though when if you've already bought those titles at full price and then a month later here they are for half price and you're like, what the fuck gives? You're like, that's kind of bullshit. For me, my major advantage of having PlayStation Plus is having early access and exclusive access to certain betas like Assassin's Creed. I had the Assassin's Creed Revelations beta, I got into it. Just recently, the Gotham City Imposters beta, I got into it. That's really cool to have access to those things. Is it fair that people have to pay to have early access to those things? I don't necessarily agree with that, but those are the kind of advantages you're going to get with PlayStation Plus. I can tell you the completely worthless things, like that core show that they give you. No one fucking watches that. It's completely worthless. It's common information you can get on the internet. Why would you want to watch a show that they produce that they charge you otherwise for? Fuck that. And they claim every month that they give you freebies. Most of the freebies are completely worthless. And what's annoying about the freebies is they're for a very limited time. So they'll say, oh, there's freebies, get them now. And if you don't know to go on there now and get them, within 2 weeks they're gone, and now you've missed out. And that's happened to me. Phil, John said, oh, Phil, something's free, go get it. And I go on there and it's gone. It's not free anymore. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. If you're going to make something free for PlayStation Plus members, make it fucking free. Not that, oh, you missed out because you didn't know to go on fucking PlayStation Network every single day and check what's free. It's really fucking annoying in that regard. So PlayStation Plus, if you want access to betas and if you want to get big discounts on downloadable games a couple months after their release, that's probably the reason to subscribe. Any other reason, complete waste of time. So if you're not interested in those two things, don't bother with it. Next question. Hey Phil, you mentioned that you're reading A Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones. It's a series of books by George R.R. Martin. It's a fantasy series. I'm curious what book you're on. I'm currently reading A Storm of Swords, and it's amazing, and that's from Solid Fantasy, also an avid fan. I'm only on the second book, which is, I believe, Clash of Kings. There's 5 books in the series, I believe. And it's taking me forever to get through it. As you know, I'm busy. I'm constantly reading gaming magazines and things to stay in the know on what games are coming up. So I'm doing that kind of stuff with reading. I'm always filming, and I read when I can. But just recently now, if you saw our MagFest coverage, we stopped at a comic book store, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. First time I've been to a comic book store in 100 years, so I bought some comics and I've been reading those. In fact, I just finished Batman Long Halloween, which is a very classic Batman tale. I've never read it. Amazing. I thought it was a fucking awesome comic book, and actually that comic book series had massive influence on the current generation of Batman movies. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and then the new one that's coming out, I think it's Dark Knight Rises. Those movies were highly influenced by those comics. I highly recommend if you want to read a good Batman story, read The Long Halloween. So yeah, eventually I will probably finish Game of Thrones. I have no idea when, maybe sometime in the next fucking decade. Who knows? I hope in the next decade. That'd be nice. Next question. In videos like your channel updates, or some of the updates that you've done about SOPA and internet censorship bills, how is it that you manage to coherently convey so much information without reading a script? It's clear that apart from skit stuff like your Project 7 videos, you don't use a script. But seriously, how do you just stand in front of your camera and remember everything you wanted to say when you're making a 20-minute video? Do you have notes that you put on a page? Do you spend much time thinking about it, or organizing it, or preparing for it, etc., etc.? Or is it just as simple as sitting down and start recording? And that's from Game Trekker. 99% of the time, it's just sitting down and going. What I usually do, I say, okay, what do I want to talk about in this video? And I don't take notes or nothing. I'll just say, okay, I want to talk about this game that I played, this game that I played, and then these 2 games coming up this week. So I'm doing a channel update. Again, I make a mental note of what I'm going to talk about, and I just run through it. And I'll be honest, there are times when I forget stuff. It's true. There's times when I want to mention stuff, and I do forget 1 or 2 things. But for the most part, I'm usually able to nail it, and it's always on the first take. I don't take multiple takes or anything. I very rarely, unless someone knocks on the door with a package being delivered or something, I don't fuck up or anything. It just comes natural. It's public speaking ability is what it really is, and it came from years of me doing public speaking, doing speeches in front of kids in high school, leading events in college, leading events at my job of 5 years before I got laid off. I was a project leader on lots of stuff. So for me, it just comes naturally, but honestly, it took a lot of time, it took a lot of work, a lot of practice to be comfortable, to be relaxed like I am right now, remember everything that I need to say in a video. And if you ever have a chance to enter into like oratory contests, speeches, those kind of things, debate clubs, stuff like that, feel free to do, because that's what will give you the kind of abilities that I have. Okay, next question. We're almost to the Twitter questions, by the way. I know some people submitted Twitter questions and wanted them answered. I got about 15 minutes left. Dear Phil, if you could choose some specific words for subscribers who dislike your videos, not based on your commentary or the mistakes that you're making, but simply on the choice of game that you decided to play, what would you like to say? Now, I myself believe that this may stem from people wanting a playthrough sooner, so they go to your videos and they just downvote your playthrough until you end up playing the game that they want you to play. Now, I know what most will say, why should a rating matter? It's still giving him views, ratings don't matter on YouTube. This is a valid point, but I believe in having respect for someone who provides entertainment when they don't have to do anything at all. It's sort of like trying to get a dog to perform a trick, and when the dog fails, they receive no treat. I find it rather disrespectful that people try to train you to conform to their wants, even if it doesn't work, by disliking something that they don't have to watch in the first place, the lemon. And that last statement was the key. Disliking something you didn't have to watch in the first place. And this is what people on the internet need to figure out. People on the internet, this is this whole new generation of kids who've grown up, and they feel entitled. They feel entitled to everything. My opinion matters. It's the most important opinion out there, so I have the right to speak it. What I want is the most important, and I should have instant gratification for everything that I want, and I'm entitled to get everything that I want. I deserve it, and you should give it to me for free. This is the mentality of this generation of people who've grown up with the internet, because the internet is instant gratification for a lot of different things. So case in point, what the lemon is talking about, in particular the specific week this has happened, I started playing Phoenix Wright Justice for All earlier this week, and it actually was very taxing. I actually found out that after doing the voice acting for a full day, my voice was really worn out, which is why I'm taking a break from that game, by the way. I will get back to it, but I had to take a break after doing it for a day and a half. My voice was shot, okay, because I'm doing all the voice acting. But people started leaving comments on it. Phil said he was going to do Metal Gear Solid 3 this week, and this game's holding up Metal Gear Solid 3. Stop playing this shitty game. And then they would fucking downvote the video, give it a thumbs down. And you'll see on those Phoenix Wright videos, there's lots of thumbs down. Now, I started playing Metal Gear Solid 3, and now you're seeing the other thing. You're seeing comment, oh, Phil had to stop playing Phoenix Wright to start playing this fucking piece of shit. This video sucks. Thumbs, and they thumbs down the video. And it's like, wow, what spoiled brat mentality this is. I want what I want, and if you don't give it to me, regardless of the fact that this is free, this is optional entertainment, and I don't have to put out a fucking thing for anyone, they're gonna downvote other videos simply because they don't like the game. If you don't like the subject matter of a video, don't fucking watch it. If you hate tennis, don't watch the fucking US Open Championships. If you hate, rock music, don't listen to a Metallica concert. And if you hate Metal Gear, don't fucking watch a Metal Gear video. Don't be a whiny brat, I can't get what I want right now because DSP's doing something else, and start downvoting videos. It's immature, it's completely bratish, selfish, and you deserve to get fucking spanked if that's your mentality. That's the bottom line. You're an immature little brat, okay? That being said, just like the lemon says, I really don't give a shit because thumbs down don't affect the video in any way. You can give me 5 billion thumbs down. Who gives a fuck? You're still watching the video. I'm still getting paid. So go ahead and act like a whiny brat if you want because I still get paid for it, so it doesn't matter to me either way. But know that it's not going to affect what I'm doing in any way, shape, or form. If I want to play a certain game, I'm going to play a certain game. It just so happens, no, I didn't start playing Metal Gear Solid 3 this week because I was tired of Phoenix Wright and, fans were demanding it. I did it because my voice was shot from doing all the voice acting. I needed a couple days off, and once I beat Metal Gear Solid 3, I will go back to Phoenix Wright. So everyone, just know that that's what's going to happen, but just chill the fuck out with thumbs down, or don't. I get paid either way, so do what you want. Alright, next question. Do you agree with everyone on Solid Snake's sex appeal being huge? And that's from Cal0014. Well, all I have to say, Cal, is that's not the only thing that Solid Snake has that's huge. Anyway, stupid question. Alright, final question from my forums, then we're going to go to a small handful of Twitter questions to end out the episode. Alright, Phil, if Super Turbo is featured again within the next 2 to 3 years at the Super Battle Opera Tournament, will you try to qualify again? Also, when you were at your prime in games like Super Turbo and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, how many hours per week were you practicing? And that's from Private Joker. The first question, will I ever try to compete to go to Japan again and participate in the Super Battle Opera Invitational Qualifier Tournament? Probably not. And the honest answer is because I thought it out, and with the condition that my back is in, which it hasn't gotten any worse, but it's still just as bad as it ever was. The fact that I haven't gotten an operation yet, it's still extremely risky to do something like an operation. I don't think it's worth it for me to take a trip to Japan with the huge flight times and everything that I would have to do just to be in this tournament. I've thought it out, and I said if I want to go somewhere, like I might want to go to Europe, okay? I might want to go to some other locale rather than Japan. Japan used to be on my list, and now as I've become a more mature adult, it's not as attractive to me anymore. I just don't want to. Let me put it this way. John Rambo went, and I've seen his videos, and I was like, wow, if I had sat on a plane just to do that kind of stuff, I probably would have been disappointed, you know? So, I don't know. For me, my roots are in Europe. That's where my ancestors came from. I would probably want to go to Europe over Japan, so probably no, I would not participate to try to qualify to go to Japan. Okay? Second question. When I was really competitive into these games, how often did I play? I would probably say anywhere between 5 to 10 hours a week. Meaning, every Friday and Saturday night, it was like clockwork. I would either go to the local arcade, and I would stand there starting at like maybe 8, I don't know, let's say 8, 9 p.m., and we'd play till 1, 2 in the morning when the arcade closed. When arcades were dying out, then you play at home. It would be the same thing. You have people come over and you play for these epic play sessions where you just play non-stop. So probably 5 to 10 hours a week was what I was putting in. More often 10 hours than 5. And then when I actually worked at the mall during high school, whenever I was on break at the mall, I would go play for like a half hour. So there was all these factors. But I did put in a significant amount of time training and playing in those games. Alright, we've got 4 Twitter questions, and then we'll wrap up this week's episode. First one is from BTR Chaz, and he says, have you ever considered getting a pet in your condo, or are you worried that it might make noises during your videos? Well, number one, that is a massive concern. If I have a pet, it might disturb when I'm recording. It might attack my equipment. I know a lot of people haven't seen my setup, but there's wires everywhere. I mean, with all the shit that I need hooked up, there's just wires everywhere. It would be unsafe to have a dog or someone in here that could chew that and get hurt. But this condo facility also does not allow any pets whatsoever besides cats, because they consider anything else like a nuisance. A dog barks too much, they have too many noise complaints. A rat or a mouse could get loose and start freaking reproducing, and now you have an infestation here in the condo. So they're only allow cats, and I in particular don't like cats that much, so I wouldn't get a pet. Next question. This one is from a myth known as JD. And he says, will you be trying out the Kinect features for your Mass Effect 3 playthrough in March? Or if anything, will you maybe try them out in a demo? Very good question. Because as you know, Mass Effect 3 will supposedly be implementing Kinect features. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's my approach to it. I'm going to play the demo, and supposedly the demo will implement the Kinect. Based off of how the demo implements the Kinect, I will make my decision whether or not I will use the Kinect in my official playthrough of the game. And even that said, if I decide to use it and it starts becoming a huge fucking nuisance for me, I'll disconnect the thing and throw it out the window and just play the game. Because it's a peripheral that does not need to be in a hardcore game like Mass Effect 3. The only reason that they're integrating it is to try to say, oh, buy Mass Effect 3, it works with the Kinect, even though it really isn't going to add anything to the game from everything they've described. They're probably going to try to sell it as a bundle to sell their shitty fucking Kinect that no one wants. And it's a gimmick. I don't think it's going to add anything to the game. If it does, I may try it. We'll see. Next question. This is from GTR Freak 8787. And he says, Project 7's pilot episode had a lot of inside jokes that I understood, but some people had no clue. Are you ever going to explain them? And the answer to that is, that's the kind of thing that you put on a DVD. Special features. Here, we're going to do commentary and analyze episode 1 for you, and we're going to explain the special feature, or in the special features we'll explain a lot of these inside jokes that you may not get. And so that's the kind of stuff we're looking to put on a DVD release if and when we do that, when the series is done. Okay, last question for this episode of Ask the King, and I'm just about out of time, so this is perfect time for the last question, is from iBakerBoy, and the question is, do you think you screwed up Do you think you've screwed up your Mass Effect 3 game by romancing both Liara and Miranda? And my response to that is, you could never mess up a game by romancing 2 women instead of 1. So that's it for this episode of Ask the King. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, I do this once a month. At the last week of the month, there will be an exception next month. It's actually going to be on March 1st because, as you know, February is the shortest month of the year. And I said I don't want to do it too early. So I'm just going to do it on March 1st. Will be episode 21 of Ask the King. The forums are the threads already up on my forums on thekingofhate.com. Go post up your questions for the next episode. Please spread the word about this because, again, I talked about ACTA, I talked about Mega Upload, I talked about a lot of questions a lot of people have been asking about, and then I answer them, and then they just keep asking because they don't watch the damn videos. Spread the word. If you see people asking those questions, direct them to these videos so they get their answers. Thanks a lot. I'll see you guys for gameplay. Have fun. Be safe. I'll see you then.